Welcome to the workshop. Today we're going to explore a Buffet S1 alto. That's part of their Pro range. It was made in the 70s and it's rather unusual. So let's explore some of these mechanisms and see how it works. Let me introduce you to the Buffet S1. It looks like a very normal saxophone, has a few little quirks. I want to show you the octave mechanism first. It has a little plate here that holds the lever that interacts with the crook key. But it also, then the other side of this lever has a little fork, and that operates the second octave key. The second octave key is actually on the same rod as the left hand, making it slightly annoying to take apart. But the octave mechanism works really nicely and it swaps nice and it feels quite comfortable. Now this saxophone does indeed have a top F sharp and it's right up here on the tenon. So the crook does also have this cutout to facilitate it. Notice that it's slightly bigger than the tonal itself, so you do have a tiny bit of movement back and forth without obstructing the tone hole. These instruments also have a particular B flat key where it's split in the middle. This can feel really nice for some players. In a way it feels quite different in that you can't really roll onto it in the same way. There's no roller here and it doesn't pivot outwards. It simply is in place with everything. What's nice is that you can really move back and forth quite nicely here, but it does feel quite different to a lot of other saxophones. The S1 also have a particular thumb hook where it swivels back and forth onto this screw here. This is supposed to be quite loose so that the player can adjust it to fit their hand, but again it's one of those things that some people absolutely love and other people absolutely hate about the S1. Finally, I have to show you the low D sharp and low C mechanism. It has these touch pieces, often called butterfly design, where the touch pieces work on their own and are simply interacting with the key underneath. Let's take a closer look. Here you can see the low C key and its touch piece. The key itself works completely on its own and has this little adjustable top which can be unscrewed by putting a needle through the holes and twisting. Now the touch piece itself works completely on its own and it's not sprung. It simply works on the gravity and also the spring of the low C key itself. It does have its own heel cork, which can be quite frustrating to fit, as it does need to not touch the other touch piece, but also allow the low C to vent properly. Both of these keys still have bumpers, and to be honest, it's not the most clever design in my opinion. It does mean that more things can go wrong here, and also means it's slightly harder to set up. The adjustability here is not really worth it in my opinion, but it does feel great to play in that you have this really nice feeling between the two. It's a bit like the table keys and that it feels like a bit of a bowl that your finger can kind of roll through, but it does have no rollers here, so you do get friction between your skin and the lacquer itself. The Buffet S1 saxophones are usually classed as a classical instrument. That doesn't mean that you can't play jazz on these. It's simply due to the ergonomics, making fast passages pass really nice and smoothly, which can definitely benefit a jazz player. Just make sure you have the right mouthpiece for the job so that you can get the best tonality and tuning out of the instrument. That concludes my tour of the Buffet S1 saxophones. I hope you found this video interesting. Do let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Thank you for watching and keep the music going.